Hello everybody, we are back with the Worst of QLR Part 2 from Nikki T. It sounds weird when I say it, but it's Nikki T. Just to make sure. Now the video is called Deleted Autism Non-Diagnosis 5 hours and 35 minutes, November to December 2023. Hashtag Quirkyloverosee. So let's start.
I believe that I have undiagnosed learning disabilities, as well as undiagnosed autism. I panic ate a bag of marshmallows.
What a start. What a start.
There are no resources for autistic adults that are late diagnosed. They don't exist. I have an idea of what I think the doctor's going to tell me, but obviously I'm not the doctor and I could be proven wrong. I'm probably autistic. I'm not autistic enough for a diagnosis. Yeah, I'm double depressed. So, inconclusive. I had like a full meltdown. Because I'm autistic. I've been really anxious because tomorrow's like a lot. There's so many emotions because the first appointment is for the psychologist, and that's to get my full testing for everything. Because I believe that I have undiagnosed learning disabilities as well as undiagnosed autism. I would like to just get reconfirmation on the ADHD, and I've been treated for it and been working on it for many years now, but since we're doing a full workup, may as fucking well. So I'd like to just get like everything documented and confirmed. And I am so scared because if you interacted at all with like autistic internet, you know,
She looks so much smaller here. I don't know. Oh, well, November to December 2023. So this is 2.5 years ago. She looks like a lot smaller. And I don't usually notice like a difference in people's size a lot. Like I'm not good with that. But she looks a lot smaller. She never stopped the whole feedy shit. She really didn't, did she?
You've watched autistic creators, you've watched people like go through their own testing process. You've watched the women or AFABs of my age range talking about their experiences of not getting diagnosed. I resonate so heavily with those experiences. And I get a lot of shit on the internet for talking about being autistic as a self-determined autistic because I'm not a doctor.
What's self-determined? The fuck?
So I didn't diagnose myself. But I spent my
Well, she did diagnose herself. But she's not a doctor.
whole life struggling. It feels like every single day I was being gaslit by the world around me. And especially because I had a brother who was diagnosed and got the treatment that he needed. And
Right. So the brother was diagnosed. She was not. And yet she was the one that people were gaslighting. What?
there was a couple points in my childhood where I tried to bring it up, and I was to my parents and immediately dismissed. And to this day, my parents still don't really acknowledge that at all, and they really won't.
Well, because there's nothing to acknowledge. There is nothing there. She wasn't diagnosed. So what does she want them to acknowledge? What?
Until I get diagnosed, and that is the main motivator I have for pursuing a diagnosis and spending this money to get this diagnosis. It's not to rub it in my parents' face, as some people have tried to convey me to say.
Oh, she said it herself. It's to rub it in her parents' face. Like, look, I'm autistic, and you didn't notice. You were bad parents. Now you owe me. Now you have to serve me my whole entire life and bring me food to the pool. Oh my god, it already makes me so angry. Jesus, Rosie.
From my podcast interview, and I had a lot of expectations placed on me that I couldn't meet, and no one knew why, because I'm autistic, and I don't even need a doctor to tell me I'm autistic.
Rosie, one grown-ass woman to another grown-ass woman. You went on a podcast, on a public, space. You knew that it would be published and that potentially a ton of people would see it. And then you picked a dress where your what is it called? The wings is hanging out, the fat wing is hanging out. Now what the fuck? You couldn't pick a dress that covers the excess fat? I don't know. Does Rosie think this is cute? Does she think this is pretty and attractive and sexy? Does she feel comfortable in that? Shit. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable when things are hanging out all over the place. Come on now, Rosie. You thought this is cute? I don't know, this is all I can look at. I don't see, I don't even know what the fuck she just said there. Why is this piece hanging out there? I don't get it. Fuck me.
At this point, truthfully, the reason I'm pursuing a diagnosis is just because I want my parents to believe me, and I've been kind of transparent about that. At this point, they still don't, and I understand why. That would require a lot for them to consider about what happened in my childhood.
Oh, because you think?
Because my brother's autistic,
Okay.
and he was diagnosed when we were children, and I was not. Because I kind of said it in a quippy way.
This shows so much desperation for attention, and like here in particular from her parents. I'd say, well, I guess, or well, it's obvious. But she is so desperate to be diagnosed with anything, and well, I guess everything. The more the merrier. She's so desperate for it so she could have attention. I guess her brother probably got a lot of attention as a child because he was diagnosed. And she probably seen it and thought, oh my god, I want that too. This is so cool. You know? This is so weird. She is 34. Right? 34. I feel like you gotta leave that shit behind you at some point. And I know it's not easy. Because like who grew up in a perfect household with perfect parents and perfect circumstances? Yeah, probably nobody. I don't know. Well, I at least don't know nobody. But at some point, even if you didn't work through it, even if you didn't like go to therapy, which she did, as far as I know, she went to a lot of therapy. Therefore, she speaks a lot of this, like she uses a lot of these therapy terms, and that's a whole other thing. Anyways. At some point, you gotta leave it behind. You gotta just make yourself, I don't know, forget it, I guess, or something. Like, you can't keep holding on to the fact that you weren't acknowledged as autistic as a child, or that you didn't get the attention that you could have gotten if you had it. Like, I don't know, does that make sense? Kind of makes sense to me, at least. Like, if you don't want to work through it, or if you don't want to acknowledge that there is a problem with that kind of behavior, you need to understand that it's not gonna, like, you can't go back in time and change it, right? So you gotta drop it at some point. Just drop it. You don't have a diagnosis. The doctors are not going to confirm you've got something that you don't have. So just drop it, just forget it, just move on, like literally, just move on. She's holding on to that. I feel like that prevents her from like living her life. I mean, also the 2,000 extra pounds do that, but I don't know. I'm rambling, but you know what I mean? Like, she like lives in the past, that she's trying to get that time back where her brother was probably getting a lot of attention, and she wants that. Like, she wants to be the one who gets all the attention. I don't know. Rosie, just, you are healthy. Well, at least you don't have autism, I guess. Well, she doesn't. Right. Just stop. I don't understand. I'm rambling. I'm sorry, but she's annoying. Like, it's been 2 minutes, and I can't. The video is 35 minutes long. I'm going to be foodie at the end, and I will be raging. Fuck's sake.
I didn't expand into it. But when I say that I'm getting it because I want to prove it to my parents, it's...
But why? Why do you need to prove it? Even if it were true, why do you need to prove it? Like, if you know it, if you know you've got it, no, fine, great, all power to you. Why do you need to prove it to anyone? For what? What benefit does that have to her life now? What's gonna change? All right, you've got it. And now what? I don't understand. I don't understand her whole life, to be honest. But I don't get it.
Because I know I'm autistic, and I don't need a doctor to tell me that. I'm at a place in...
You actually do need a doctor to tell you that. Like, for it to be true, you need a doctor to tell you that. actually.
Life where I feel like it would be more beneficial for me to get the diagnosis and be able.
How? What's the benefit? Except so you can rub it in your parents' face. What other benefits are there to having it confirmed? Having it be confirmed? I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb. I don't know.
Able to unpack that and know for a fact that I'm not just making it up, that it's not all figment of my imagination, and I am in a position in life where I have good enough health care that I can access that, and a lot of people don't.
But she doesn't need like special healthcare for something she doesn't have. So she's fighting for the diagnosis and also for like the, I guess, additional or specialized healthcare for the diagnosis, which she doesn't have. So you have two fights going on for nothing, for something that doesn't exist. I don't understand. What the fuck, Rosie?
I was warned that this was going to be a really expensive process, but I've been hospitalized a couple times. I've gotten tons of medications. I've gone to countless appointments this year. But, you know, all these additional copays that I thought I was going to have, I don't have to have because thankfully this is happening at the end of the insurance year. I'm excited, I'm hopeful, and I'm just really scared that I'm going to have an experience that so many people have because I don't know the psychologist. She works in the same clinic as my psychiatrist, and he's awesome. But this is also the same company that paired me with a psychiatrist prior to my YouTube channel that I had a horrific experience with. Been waiting for this day, and I'm not going to walk out of there with a diagnosis. This is the preliminary meeting, and all I can do is breathe through it. I'm scared shitless about tomorrow and how all this is going to go. Don't know what I'm...
But why? Why is she scared? Like, if you've got it, like the what did you say? Psychologist is gonna see it, is gonna recognize it, and if you don't have it, then they're gonna see that you don't have it. What's the fear stemming from?
I'm gonna post this. Buckle up. This is probably gonna be a months-long journey.
Or she's scared because she's gonna have to deliver a whole performance tomorrow at the appointment to make sure that they diagnose her. I guess then fear would make sense. Because, you know, this is the performance of your life. So, but otherwise, there's no need to be scared of what. You either have it and they're gonna see it, or you don't and they won't. Like, if you read between the lines of what she says when she has these like rants, you can kind of hear what she actually wants, like what she actually means, what she is actually trying to say but can't say it because it's public on YouTube. I don't know. Also, I feel like my English is way, way worse today because I had a very long day and I'm kind of like noticing this right now. Should I start speaking German?
Being an autism diagnosis is not easy at all. It's something that requires a lot of luck, a lot of self-reflection and understanding yourself and advocating for yourself. In 2020 was when I kind of had a breakthrough because I didn't know it at the time that I was fighting burnout and I was going through some traumatic shit.
Burnout from what? What was happening? Burnout? What the fuck? From what? Rosie's like the laziest person I've ever seen online. Burnout from what? Oh my god, she could never survive in real life. She could never, like, we have such, her and normal people with normal lives, we have such different realities. You know what I mean? She's just sitting at home, she's chronically online, she cooks, she eats, she shits. That's it. That's it, I guess. Well, and she lies a fuck ton. But otherwise, there's nothing in her life. Like, there's nothing happening, nothing going on. She's been to Vegas for the documentary, and then she's been to her FIDA boyfriend in Texas. And that's it. And when she was in Texas, everything was super exciting, everything was new. Like, she was excited about the grocery store in her own country. Like, she didn't leave the country. And I understand that there's differences, like state to state and stuff, sure. but I don't know, she doesn't know real life. She doesn't know waking up 5 a.m, getting ready, like grabbing something for breakfast or something for on the way to work, and then being at work for 8+ hours, and then being super exhausted, getting back in your car or in the bus. Imagine Rosie on public transport, and going home, and then at home you have to clean, and then you have to cook, and maybe you've got kids. That's a fuck ton of work, and maybe you have pets, so now you have to walk your dog, or you have to clean like the rabbits' cages or whatever. You know what I mean? And then you have to get ready for tomorrow, so you prepare your bag or whatever. I understand. She doesn't do anything, and she's always tired, and now we have a burnout. From fucking what?
I was isolated, living in a camper in a family friend's front yard for 7 months, and I was also like going through an identity crisis and coming to terms with realizing that
Of course. Why not? Why not an identity crisis on top of fuck off?
I had been autistic,
and I'm not trying to say that people don't have identity crisis. Absolutely. It's fine. It's common. Sadly, people get confused, and life makes things even more confusing. It's no problem. It's just, I don't want to say funny, it's just interesting that she keeps piling on these problems and issues in her life to make it seem like she actually has a life when she really fucking doesn't.
And that all these things did apply to me, researching not just like random videos on TikTok. Like, I feel like listening to firsthand.
See, that's what I mean. That's what I mean when I say that you can, like, you just gotta listen to her and she's gonna tell you the truth. Like, yeah, so she learned from TikToks. But you can learn stuff from TikToks. Sure. But this would explain a lot.
People's experiences really helped me a lot, but also reading research articles, understanding different aspects of autism, different research that's come up in the past 5 to 10 years. The research that was available to my mom, the research that was out there, it did not align with the presentation of autism that I have. The presentation of my...
Yeah, because she's very special. She's different and special. That 1 in 2 million case, that's Rosie. It's always been Ambi, now it's Rosie. They're all so special and so different. Same with weight loss. Like, remember Ambi talking about, no, I do everything right, I count calories, I go on walks, I do everything right, I exercise, but I'm just different. It's just different with me. Same shit here, same shit, different face.
My symptoms are not only sometimes contradictory, but just very different than someone who is like just autistic. And so I didn't have access to my therapist. I had already done about, I want to say 2 to 3 years worth of EMDR at this point in my life. I not only used EMDR tactics on myself, by myself, to help me cope, like when I was having flashbacks, panic attacks, things like that, when I needed to just cope through it.
Nikki T added this music, right? Sorry. It's probably bad to laugh, but come on now, Rosie.
I'll be real with y'all, I just had a flashback to the camper when I said that. I just had an emotional flashback for like a hot second, so I had to breathe through it, sorry. I not only use EMDR tactics on myself, but I've been a part of these specific autistic inclusivity Facebook groups for years now, and there's so many resources out there now that just didn't exist
1 week later.
There are no resources for autistic adults. And so I used that pediatric autistic research in conjunction with what is a technique in trauma therapy called reparentification. I did some things to basically help me feel childlike again and learning how to accommodate my sensory needs. Being the person that now I have no problem going in public with my sunglasses on and my headphones on my ears, even if they're turned off, just to muffle the noise and lower the sensory inputs, less likely to end up getting like ramped up and needing to have a meltdown.
You can tell that she read on this topic like a lot, and watched a lot of TikToks. I feel like this is not like a real experience that she is talking about. I feel like she probably started doing it because she read about it. It doesn't sound genuine. It doesn't sound like a real thing that happened to her or that happens to her that helps her or anything. It really doesn't. Like, it sounds fake as fuck. It sounds made up. And I think her using all those like therapy words, I don't know how to say it. It's so dangerous because well, it's a way to manipulate people. Because if you bring a lot of those words into a conversation, people are gonna feel like they're like you're superior, like you know something they don't. Like I'm listening to this and I'm like, whoa, wait. But at the end of the day, she's just trying to manipulate people into believing that she's got something that she doesn't. But it's like, it's kind of hard to get through all this talking because she's so, like, she is actually good at it. She brings up a lot of things that she probably read in those books, and so it sounds believable because she just talks a lot and fast, and it sounds like she's got some knowledge on it, but I don't think she does. I just think she read like what type of behavior would be like autistic behavior, I guess. And now she tells us that that's how she behaves as well. Well, and also that she is super different and that she actually doesn't behave like typical autistic people. So, I don't know, this video is a mess. I'm talking myself to hell and back. I don't know if any of it makes sense. I don't know, I find it dangerous. I find it dangerous what she does here with all this.
Learn more how to like cope through these aspects and restructure my boundaries and allow myself to be things I was always told I was not. I was always told that I was a dramatic kid, that I was very social, that I was talkative. I was told these things over and over and over.
Right.
And over and over, like ad nauseum. Anytime I tried to express that I didn't always feel that way, anytime I tried to express when I was experiencing like non-verbalness or anything like that, I was told I was wrong.
Rosie nonverbal? Okay.
I was told I was lying. I was told these things to me that weren't true.
She is a liar, like a confirmed liar.
People around me did not understand who I was. And it just boils down to that. I'm not mad at my parents for that. I tried to tell them that, like, the research didn't exist for them. I saw how hard my mom fought for my brother. So in a way, that's both a really affirming thing and a really hurtful thing, right? You would put yourself in the position that I was in. Because on one hand, clearly she cares. And she thought, she was going to do what was best for her kids. And in the same breath, she always would say how like she never felt like she knew what to do with me. And it was because she was treating me like a neurotypical kid when I wasn't. And that's the bottom line. But I really struggled to make and keep friends. Most of the friends I ended up making were the kind of friends that turned around and picked on me. Became obsessed with learning about social skills and learning about socialization and communication and, and in my writing and stuff. I talk a lot about that show, Lie to Me. I was so obsessed with that show. It felt like it was a real life superpower that I could understand these micro expressions, just not as a fact, but just to guide me through.
She could understand micro expressions, but she doesn't see that her boyfriend like pushes her away after kissing, and that he doesn't really want to touch her, and like she doesn't recognize any of that. But
through the landscape hell that was middle school and high school that I so desperately wanted to connect to and understand and just couldn't. And the friends that I did make, none of the motherfuckers were neurotypical. Okay, like why is it that I make these friends and then I end up finding out they're autistic? Like it happened 6 times for sure, if not more than 6 times throughout my high school experience. Or like, and then a couple people like.
So this, if true, would tell me that she specifically picked out people that were maybe easier to manipulate. I don't know. Yeah. If true.
After high school, I ended up finding out later they found out they were autistic. And it's because we gravitated towards each other. It's not my parents' fault that the research wasn't there for them, but it wasn't my fault that I didn't get my needs met and that I genuinely believed that I was possessed by some demon or evil in some way. I think throughout a lot of my life.
Well, the evil part might be
until very recent years, I have kind of always carried a victim card. There is a
She said it! She said it! It's done. It's done. We're done, besties. Movie's over. She said it. Yeah, that's true. She always wants to be the victim. She always presents herself as the fucking victim. Even though she rarely to never is. And she just said it herself. Great, Rosie. Well done. Now go to fucking therapy about it.
Reason. I left high school at 500 pounds, and it's...
We are only 7.5 minutes in. I'm so tired. And also, I didn't have dinner. And dinner is gonna suck. So I'm not even excited about that. But at least I was very productive today. That's good. I'm happy about that.
Never just because I liked food. Obviously, that was an aspect of it. For me, in that stage of my life, it was more so about that victimhood, that level of...
I feel like people that are that size, it's like for them it's not even about liking food anymore. It's maybe a habit. For many, I think it's like a habit. Like you've been eating 2 platters of fucking cheese or whatever. Or cheese, like 3 cheese pizzas and a bucket of chicken nuggets or whatever. And then you just keep doing it. Like I know about myself. Sometimes I would look at a plate and it would look like there's less than there usually is, and I'd be like, well, kind of less. Let me add some more. And then I would be full. I would feel full after like half the plate, I guess, after being done with half the food. And I'd be like, well, but yesterday I finished the whole plate, and then last Friday I finished the whole plate. So, and then I'll just keep eating just because I feel like. Gotta be a normal portion if I ate the same the same amount the other days. So I feel like it's maybe a habit. I don't think when for her being that size is not about. I don't think it's about liking food anymore. Also, she doesn't eat good food. Like the shit that she cooks, I don't think it's good. And takeout is only good when you have it like once or twice a month or. I don't know, like it's not good if you have takeout every day. It's just like, oh shit, this again, like, I don't know. It doesn't taste good, I don't think, when you've got it this often. So, I think it's a habit, maybe. Even for her. Well, and of course she made eating her job, so that's probably also a problem.
Alright, have you kind of accepted your reality? Have you accepted that you can't have your cake and eat it? The experience of like doing the podcast interview and seeing the reaction of me as a person really caused me to take a step back and like reevaluate who and why I am. Because I really didn't believe myself.
A liar. She's a liar.
To be a victim or in the victim mentality when I gave that interview. But I watched it back a couple times and I eventually realized that I have this like narrative in my head of what my lifeline has been, like the events in my life. And that narrative is my trauma timeline. But the way that I presented it was within like the old narrative I had for myself beyond the past like couple years, and I am still learning and still growing and trying to dig through the decade.
My camera is about to shut off again. I'll see you in the next clip.
Decades of this, the decades of putting it off, of accumulating the weight, of the suppression of pain, of the unhealthy coping skills, so on, so on, so on. And so for me at this point, it's like, I'm trying to just like get off the pot. Like, should I get off the pot, right? See, I'm trying to lighten the mood because I've been a little too serious for a little too long. Why do we have to take our emotions seriously when we can deflect with comedy? But I need to get some options, and I need to get a team that, can help tell me what I need to do. And I need to be willing to listen, and I need to be humble, and I need to...
You need to let it go. Let it go, Rosie. Really, truly, it's gonna be so much easier. Life is gonna feel so much better when you just let it fucking go.
Not assume that I know better, but I need to be informed, and I need to advocate for what's best for me. I don't know what that is, but it's not what I'm currently doing, and it's not what I've been doing. I've been really anxious to talk about autism on YouTube, because I knew this appointment was coming up, and people are really brutal about it on the internet if you don't have a diagnosis, and then once you are diagnosed, then they start treating you like a child, and demonizing you, and acting really shitty, or they're,
Right, and that's what she wants? If she knows that that's how she's going to be treated, why the fuck would she want it? I don't get it. I don't understand.
You're cool people, right? It's one of the other... Unfortunately, ableism is like cool on the internet to some losers. I don't have as much time as I'd like to debrief, but I just disconnected.
I think she's ableist. I think her trying to make herself autistic and trying to like behave in what she thinks autistic people behave like and how they act, I think that's ableist. I don't know if that's controversial or not, but I think she's ableist.
The over hour and a half long call I had with my psychologist, Dr. D. I really like her. We had a long conversation, reviewed a lot of information. She told me that she agrees that I probably am/fit the criteria for being autistic.
Over the phone? Now, what kind of doctor is that?
I'm going to be scheduling the testing, and it sounds like it's all going to get done before the end of the year. So all the testing I'm getting done is going to be covered by insurance based on what she told me. It's going to be 3 to 4 hours of testing, and then a follow-up appointment to go over the results. I'm going to go in for in-person
It got really dark, so I had to turn on the light.
testing, and before the end of the year, I should have my answers. I feel really validated. Updates to come. I am 2 days before my assessment. My psychologist recommended that I stop taking my ADHD medication 4 days before the appointment. Or I asked her to contact my psychiatrist to make sure that he knows that. So he actually called me like the same day. He was like, yeah, I want you to actually wean off of it. So I weaned off of it for 4 days. 10X has like changed my life. Anytime I'm talking to an ADHDer, I'm like, listen, you really should look into 10X. I texted my therapist today.
I don't think she should give anybody medical advice. Nobody. About nothing. Nothing that's medicine. Or medical. Don't listen to Rosie ever. Don't listen to me either. I don't understand nothing about medication and stuff. Or diagnoses. But neither does she. Don't listen to Rosie. Don't listen to nobody. Actually, listen to a doctor.
I almost texted her at 4 a.m. and I stopped myself and was like, maybe I'll text her tomorrow. But I texted her because night at like 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't know how else to say this other than to say it, but like, I panic ate a bag of marshmallows. I'm in the trenches right now. I'm not like giving up or trying to make excuses. This is just like my reality. This is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm going through. I'm very overwhelmed by my life right now, and I'm not really doing too much. And in my day-to-day life, besides trying to work and rest. As much as I talk about that assessment and that process and like wanting to show up to my parents, I mean, like, for one, I live with my parents, just in case people aren't aware of that. And so like, I'm not like estranged from them. I never said that like they don't care. It's just they don't get it, and I don't think they understand the magnitude of it. And I don't think that they understand how having to accept this reality that I am someone who's autistic, what that implicates for what.
But this is not reality. It's not her reality. She is not autistic. She is not diagnosed. Therefore, she's not autistic. Well, I mean, of course you can be autistic before getting diagnosed, but she had multiple appointments with different doctors to get a diagnosis, and they said, "No, you fine, you good, my guy." So what reality? This is the reality. She doesn't have it.
My childhood looked like, and their role in it. And I mean, I don't think I've said this on YouTube, but I've said this multiple times. I was them, I wouldn't want to accept it either, because I lived that life too. Unlike a lot of people in my generation, my parents like actually went to therapy for an extended period of time and bettered themselves in ways most millennials my age don't get to experience. And so I don't like to judge up aspects of my life that no longer apply to who they are. To one, like try to paint myself as like a victim, or to paint them as villains, or to garner sympathy. Like, I don't want any of that shit. So what good is bringing up those details really do besides provide context to my childhood? And it is hard for me to talk.
Why do strangers on the internet need context to Rosie's childhood? She overshares so much, like so much. And then she complains about people having opinions on all aspects of her life. But then don't tell people anything. Strangers. She doesn't even know any of us. Like,
Talk about
she creates her own problems. This is proof.
aspects of my diagnosis and getting this sorted without bringing up aspects of how I was treated as a child, and it contributed to a lot of my issues, developmentally speaking, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and otherwise, because I don't want to be held as who I was in my worst moments. I've had those moments. You know, we are all the villain in someone else's story somewhere along the line, and I'm just trying to get through this life without being a terrible, horrible person to.
She is. To her brother, to her parents, to her audience that she decided to have, to her friends, well, her ex-friends. She isn't very kind to her current Fida boyfriend.
People that don't deserve the kind of treatment, you know. I'm not in a great headspace. I feel like I'm buzzing underneath my skin again. I hate this feeling. I explain it to people like, I feel like I have TV static white noise under my skin. And it just like...
Where did she read this? Where did she get this from? From TikTok?
Won't go away.
I don't think Rosie has one singular original thought. Ever. Like, I think it's all taken from TikToks and other people's stories and other people's experiences and stuff. Maybe even fucking movies. I don't think... She reminds me of somebody. I can't remember who, but she reminds me of somebody.
The epitome of sex appeal over here. I'm anxious, yo. Like,
So if she knows that it looks horrible, like that angle, why is she still presenting herself in that angle? She's aware that it looks bad, and she still does it, and then she repeats it. And she's aware at like the whole time.
like, straight up, I'm anxious as shit right now. I've got 3 to 4 hours of testing to do today. Don't know what to expect. As I've talked about my reasons for doing this, I realized that I haven't been giving enough emphasis to myself. That, like, I'm doing this for me. And just really wanting that confirmation of what I know of myself to be true. And I keep thinking about, like, what this is going to mean, like, once it's all said and done. And how, like, I'll feel about it. And, like, what it would mean to have a diagnosis. And I realized that not a whole hell of a lot's going to change. There are no resources for autistic adults that are late diagnosed. They don't exist. But I think it'll help in my pursuit of therapy and treatment of myself, and I think it'll help in just having the confirmation in what I already know of myself. It'll be really validating to have it documented and known that I haven't been making up how hard life has been for me. I've made it this far and I've overcome this much.
She makes her life hard. Like, she herself creates problems. She makes her life hard. Also, she creates problems just in her head. Like, not even real existing problems. And then she believes in them. And you know, and then that maybe causes stress. So,
In spite of things like this, not just the trauma, but, you know, I'm specifically talking about the TISM. And I'm trying to remain as unmasked as possible. Like, I'm already realizing I'm starting to, like, try to put on a front here. That's not even the right words. Like, I'm just trying to, like,
put up a front row for the doctor.
Protect myself, really. Because that's what masking is for autistics. And so I'm going to try my best to remain unmasked for this assessment and just be my most, like, authentic, honest, blunt self. And, you know, because masking isn't necessarily about deceiving or lying at all. It's just trying to blend in and behave in ways that are more socially acceptable. And I'm a very high masking individual. I have been since childhood. I didn't understand that or know that for many years until very recently, past few years specifically. And I've been, like, unmasked on the internet before in videos and stuff. But when I'm, like, being more, like, upbeat and chipper and, like, hey guys, you know, I guess I feel like that's me, just, that's still me, right? Like, I'm not lying or, like, being someone I'm not. I'm just trying to be, I guess, more palatable. I got a lot
She isn't. She's not.
to figure out, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this. And I'm gonna go inside now. God, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. So I was told 12:30, but I guess it's because they wanted me here early because my appointment isn't even until 1. No one told me that. I'm in a waiting room by myself. This is how I show up to appointments that I'm anxious for. No shame. I wish I wasn't so scared. Hey y'all, honestly, I don't know how much I'm gonna record right now. I don't know if you can see it on my face, but I am mentally, emotionally, and physically exhausted right now. Halfway through the testing, I ended up crying because I had such a bad headache from it. She turned on the lights and that helped a lot, but I got so overwhelmed. I am just beyond exhausted. And it's really weird because like it was just stuff like, you know, at one point the very first thing they did was they had these blocks that had different colored sides. Some of them were half colors, some of them were solid. They had to create these patterns on a screen. You had to like look at certain figures and draw once they were off the screen for 10 seconds. They had me doing like math problems, like word problems, tons of stuff. And the biggest thing that was notable to me in the moment was they were having me read off, like, she would say letters and numbers and I had to repeat them back, and sometimes I had to repeat them as she said them. I had to organize them in order. I had to like say them backwards. And I realized very quickly that once you get beyond like 2 or 3, when I say that my short-term memory is damaged, I feel like I'm constantly being gaslit that like I'm over-exaggerating or like.
It's so hard for me to follow her when she speaks. Like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm falling asleep, honestly, truly. Maybe the whole like medical part of her life or of her story is just not very interesting to me, because I feel like I know that it's all just made up and that she's creating it in order to victimize herself more. I don't know what it is, but I'm sitting here, I'm just like, you know, I don't know how people like actually watch her. I don't know who. I don't know. Man, this is kind of harder than I thought.
Like, it's not that bad. It's really bad. Like, she was saying things to me and I was completely forgetting what she was saying by the time she was.
Listen, I don't know what just happened. The camera stopped recording. What a day. Jesus Christ. We will now continue with Rosie.
That was just like eye-opening to me. I've always been really bad at like seeing complicated patterns. Like, I'm good up to a certain point. Like, I'm pretty fast at it actually. When it gets to a certain point and trying to get on it, ever since my concussions and like the past few years especially, like with when I had like newer levels of trauma happen, I was doing all that, and the fluorescent overhead lighting just did me in. Like, she told me to take off my sunglasses and my headphones.
Like, it's just more and more and more and more, and this is a problem, and this is a problem, more trauma and more trauma and more. Like, Jesus Christ.
As soon as I went in, they told me that my follow-up appointment is going to be like December 21st. So it's going to be over a month before I find out. Yeah, I was in there for 3.5 hours. Took one small break. I'm ready for a nap. I'm surprised at how exhausting that was. I wasn't expecting it to be like that big of a deal, to be honest. I mean, I knew it was going to be a lot, like in terms of time or whatever, but I had to do questionnaires that totaled over like 500 questions in total. Well over 500. That included the pre-assessment stuff that I did. They said I may or may not get access to my diagnoses prior to my follow-up in the portal. I don't know. I don't know if it's like because of my memory issues. I don't know if it's because of lack of sleep or the combination of the two. But I like full on like cried halfway through because I felt really stupid. I could tell like when I didn't I didn't word things in a certain way, she would just be like, can you expand on so and so or whatever. And even though I know like there's no technically right or wrong answers, I just started beating myself up.
Maybe because Rosie is used to people question what she says. Like, her mom never questions her. When Rosie says something to her mother, she just like nods and okay, fine. Her brother never questions anything that Rosie says. She's probably just not used to people actually questioning, what did you say? Can you explain that? That doesn't make any sense. Can you explain that?
So, like, sensory overwhelm. Honestly, I might even be driving home in silence. I'm tired, y'all. I'm, like, actually upset because doing this, I found out there's a Krispy Kreme here, and there's no Krispy Kremes where I live. I'm not going to.
She's so overwhelmed. But food, that she can handle. That's fine. That she could do that.
God damn it! I want to. I'm glad today's over. I think I'm feeling better because today's over. I'm just glad it's done. Whatever happens, happens. I really struggled to bust through those tests. So I had to like use a pen and connect like all these like numbers and then letters and then alternating numbers and letters. I did a lot of that, like alternating numbers and letters and numbers, patterns, and this and that, and I was just like, damn it. So, yeah, as I said, I am glad today's done. I'm actually gonna go. Goodbye.
Do we think she stopped at Krispy Kreme? I think she probably did.
completely reconvene about my treatment plan once I have the fully, assessed situation worked up, whatever I get told. I have an idea of what I think the doctor's going to tell me, but obviously I'm not the doctor and I could be proven wrong and I could be told other things. If the doctor confirms that there is some kind of, different treatment route we could go down based off of my previous diagnoses, then we can try that. If he pretty much reconfirms most of the things that we know, plus the additional amount of medication options. I don't want to share this shit just for pity. But I want to share it because it's the truth.
Rosie is an ugly crier too. So am I, but she's definitely an ugly crier.
And I feel like a lot of times, unless you're like the pretty digestible version of depression, you just get shelled. My depression gets blamed on my weight or my laziness or whatever.
Not for no reason. Like I have to relate it back to myself again, like everything, but also this is my channel, so of course I'm gonna talk about myself. But, well, and we share the same problem, which is excessive weight. Or, well, excess weight. Is that what it is? Do you say that? Excess? Too much, too heavy. We're too big. So, what I was trying to say. Yes, she's probably depressed because of her weight. Like, I didn't believe it either. But I lost a good amount of weight in the last 13 months. And I feel so much more like energized, and I'm so much more active, and I'm willing to actually commit to plans, and I'm willing to actually go out, which I didn't want to back in the day. I didn't feel like it. I was always tired. I was always exhausted. I was always sad and mad and, all kind of things. But now I have so many plans. Like, I'm running from here to there to everywhere because I have so much to do, because I'm so motivated to do things, and I'm willing to try new things, and I'm, and yes, it has to do with your weight. First of all, you feel like shit because everything is hard. Like, you have to carry so much weight with you. Your bones are not made for that. So everything's hard. You maybe feel some kind of pain. She certainly does. Now, I was lucky with that. I had never had any pain or anything. But I'm sure she's in pain. So she doesn't want to do anything like extra because it's hard, it's difficult. Also, she's probably self-conscious, which makes sense. She should be. So, you think, well, what can I wear? What can I wear that hides my body maybe, or hides like some parts of my body that I'm ashamed of? So, and then nothing really fits, or nothing fits the way you would want it to. So now you're angry again, and now you're disappointed again because nothing fucking fits. And then you do go out maybe every once in a while, and then people look at you and you don't feel comfortable like in public because you can't walk very fast. So like if you go with your friends, they're walking, they're always kind of ahead of you, and then if they stop to wait for you, then it feels like you're a burden. So yes, the depression certainly has something to do with weight. Maybe not with everybody, but there is a correlation there for, I would say, probably many people. Like, it makes sense. And, for me, I'm always out and about all the time now. Because I'm not so tired anymore. I don't care as much as, like, what I look like or how people, like, perceive me. Because I know I'm smaller. So I look more, I guess, like conventionally attractive, even though not necessarily attractive, but like I'm just in a body that's like closer to normal sized body, and you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, don't take any advice from me, but I think that depression has something to do with your size. It just makes sense. And I'm rambling again. This whole video is just a fucking mess. I shouldn't film videos in the evening after doing a whole lot of everything.
And these mental health issues that I deal with are so all-encompassing that I feel like I've lost my personality. feel like I am just floating and I don't even know who I am anymore.
I don't think she really even has like a personality. I think she just takes attributes from other people and other people's stories, and then she combines it in herself, and then she presents herself like, like that. And I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know. I don't even know what her genuine like personality is.
And I'm just hopeful.
And I don't think she does either. I don't think she knows. I think that's actually probably true. I don't think she knows who she is as a person, because she keeps trying to find, diagnoses and stuff. And I don't know if she ever developed a personality, because even as a child, she was looking like to her brother, who was treated so much differently than her, and she was probably wanting to be that, so she probably was trying to have his personality, so that they would get the same treatment. I don't know, fuck me, I am just rambling at this point.
Well, that getting these answers and these directions and maybe getting access to that treatment is something that can help me be me again, and I get glimpses of myself. I can bring up concerns regarding Ehlers-Danlos syndrome to, like, today the Dr. W, he seemed to be like, okay, like, interesting, like, that makes sense, because there is a lot of comorbidities with things that I have / believe that I have that I'm still waiting for confirmation on, and it would make sense. I would rather know what I'm working with instead of suffering in this unknown.
But she's been told that she doesn't have anything, and she doesn't want to work with that. Like, she's been told she's got nothing. Work with that.
I'm excited. I'm approved for Manjaro, but I am also dealing with a lot of other shit medically. I have to wait a little bit just so I can get whatever news I'm going to get on the 21st and then cope with it and, not worry about feeling sick on Christmas. There's a lot that I don't know yet. But what I do know is that I'm tired of my bullshit. But I'm not going to stop.
Yeah. Same, Rosie.
Fighting. And honestly, sometimes I just wish more people would be more compassionate. And I'm not a victim in this. I'm not like, oh, woe is me. I just...
That's exactly what she is, no? Or what she wants. I feel like she's gaslighting me now. Like, I feel like she's trying to gaslight me now. Because what the fuck?
Don't know how to cope if there isn't an answer. I'm going to therapy weekly. In fact, the week of before I find out the results, and I'm going to be asking my therapist if I can see her the day before, which is our normal session day. I'm going to ask her for a second session that week. I'm not letting myself be a victim and throw a pity party and say I can't do something just because it's hard. Shit's rough, and I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to be okay, even if I'm not, because I'm going to make it.
Figure what out? Like, what does she want to figure out? That's not like...
Be that way, even if I have to redefine what my okay is.
Even if I have to redefine what autism is, because I want to be part of it, so I'm gonna redefine what the fuck it is.
And that shit's scary as fuck, but here I am. When I set out to vlog, I knew the one thing that was most important to me was to be authentic, to be real, and where I'm at in life.
Both words I would never use to describe Rosie. Real and authentic. When?
Or I'm not going to show up at all. And so, that's why I don't have a schedule. I needed to take some time away. I needed some time to not be perceived. I need a break from that sometimes. So, anyway, I'm going to go. I think that was like the majority of the updates. Right into it, post-appointment. I tried filming with him the other day and I cried really hard. So my goal is to not cry during the intro, because you'll see me cry later. I don't remember everything that I said because I was in such a tizzy and just so overwhelmed and frustrated. And so there are parts of it I think I'll just edit it around some, because there are parts of it I do want to show, but I was so like disoriented and overwhelmed and hurt and beyond frustrated. So the part that I feel like I want to make sure I communicate like from a clear head is I did go see the psychologist for the follow-up, and the psychologist gave me all the results. I'll go over all the detailed results later in the video. But I was very confused, but my psychologist did all the evals And during our first appointment, I think I even said that she believed that I would probably fall under the term Asperger's. And I've said this a lot in the past, but the term Asperger's is basically considered outdated and not really used anymore because of the history behind the name of the scientist that it was named after, and frankly, the damage that it's done to the research of autism as a whole for decades now, and ironically, directly impacting me. My psychologist basically told me that, oh god, I'm gonna cry, sorry, get over it. Basically told me that I'm probably autistic, but not autistic enough for a diagnosis, and that she thinks that it's almost too difficult to decipher what is the autism versus the trauma. And
Is that something doctors say? Is it? I have never heard of that. That's a strange, thing to say to a patient. Alright.
and I have these symptoms
Again, if true.
of autism, but that she can't diagnose me with it. And that is just, that's not a yes or a no. And a recommendation
Well, no. It's a no. It's a no. If it's not a clear yes or no, it's a no.
her professional recommendation at the end of the evaluation is that I get retested in 6 months. So when all you people out there are hounding autistic adults who are not diagnosed, who don't have good healthcare like me, that don't have access to healthcare at all, even if you do, you get shit like this because they are not equipped to handle undiagnosed autistic adults.
So, I am flabbergasted. What? No.
Because all of the research and everything is so skewed toward pediatric. And I'm heartbroken. And I don't remember how much I did share, but I did talk to my parents. Actually, I recorded a clip after I talked to my parents. So I did talk to my parents after. And they went better than expected. And so now I'm sitting here is it even worth it? Because
No. No, it's not. No.
as she said, and everyone knows that knows anything about this shit, there are no resources for autistic adults. And another thing that she said was that basically because
But she had a resource. She had a doctor that was equipped, obviously, to diagnose her. If she got an appointment there, then the doctor was obviously, equipped to diagnose her. And they didn't. That's the answer. It's a no. That's the resource. That doctor was the resource. And the resource told you, fuck off. You don't have autism. Just accept it. Just accept it. I don't understand.
I do not require one-on-one assistance as an adult to function, like a caretaker. That was part of the reason why she couldn't diagnose me. And I think the hardest part is I can't be this woman's a quack. She sucks. You'll see the rest of the video. I think she's good at her job. The system's just broken. The system.
But if she's good at her job, what does that have to do with the system? Even if there isn't any additional healthcare after the diagnosis of adults, then she would have still diagnosed her. And then Rosie would just end up not having any additional care, I guess. But she would have still gotten the diagnosis, right? So what does one have to do with the other? I don't understand.
I'm just broken. I've been grieving the past few days because I was just really confident.
Grieving her imagination.
The doctor made me feel confident. I think that hurts worse. And she basically said I am autistic, just not autistic enough. It's fucking gross. Anyway, sorry I cried. So, yeah. Hi, welcome to me. Just got done with my appointment that I've been waiting over a month for. I'm gonna talk about it because I'm just gonna be honest. And I'm upset. And I'm angry. And it's not over. Spoiler alert, this isn't over yet. I'm gonna take some notes. I'm just gonna talk about it because I got a full assessment. And, she said my core diagnosis, a lot of this is not a surprise. A lot of this, pretty much, everything here I already knew. So my core diagnosis was my PTSD/CPTSD. And then she said, and she put it in a certain order. And she said my next concern was severe anxiety. I guess that's what she diagnosed me with. And then I got a confirmation of PDD, persistent depressive disorder, which is an overarching long-term diagnosis. I've probably had it since I was a kid. But then I'm also still diagnosed with major depressive disorder because she said you can have both.
This is so much. This is so much stuff. Jesus Christ. And she's not, trying to help herself there. She's not,
and that the MDD explains like the hyper intensive episodes of depression that I can go through. But PDD is more of like a persistent, long-term, overarching thing. And then she said that I presented with ADHD combined type, but more impulsive versus hyperactive. So I got 2 depression diagnoses. Yeah, I'm double depressed. And then of course, the big one. Well, before I get to the big thing, she said that she's ruled out entirely bipolar and PDD. That those were misdiagnoses, that I was right about that. Yeah. I'm so mad. She told me that basically I'm too high functioning to be diagnosed as autistic. She said that I showed symptoms of autism. But basically
Depending on the symptoms, I guess many people show symptoms of autism. Like, depending on what symptoms we are talking about. Not every symptom of autism is like super extreme, or, you know, like this is not something special. Or she didn't get the diagnosis. What is she still talking about? She didn't get it. She is not diagnosed. She doesn't have autism. She put so much work into getting this diagnosis. I've never seen her put so much work into anything else. Not job hunting, not her feeder relationship, not even the cooking, not the relationship with her family members or her friends, not into losing weight, not into working on herself or her personality or anything. I've never seen her put this much work into anything. Why does she need it this badly? Well, I mean, I guess the answer is to show her parents, to tell, look, you made me this way. You are at fault for my fucked up life because you didn't see that I was autistic and you didn't treat me like an autistic child. She just wanted.
Situations, it was something she's not able to diagnose at this time, and her recommendation at the end of the report is to retest in 6 months. It's their official recommendation. So, inconclusive. Fucking sick, right? I go full meltdown.
I'm about to have a whole ass meltdown too. I feel like I'm Rosie because I keep saying I'm tired, but I'm really tired. Rosie, come on now.
Because I'm autistic. I know I am. I'm not delusional. I'm not wrong.
But also, if everyone else says you're not, like even professionals, and her mother took a course or studied psychology or something, and if everybody who's got any knowledge on this topic says you don't have it, and you are the only person that says, no, I do have it, even though you've got no knowledge on it, you didn't study it, you don't, like, how do you not, like, second guess yourself? How do you not sit there and go, well, maybe the other ones are right, maybe there is something to it, maybe I am actually wrong for once? I don't know. How is she not having any doubts about that? Like, is that, I don't know. I feel like everybody doubts themselves sometimes, you know? And if you have a whole group of people, of educated people that tell you this is how it is, how do you not think, well, maybe they're right? I don't know.
I'm not lying. I'm not lying for attention. I'm autistic. And I'm so upset. You know, I might have gotten it past, but I didn't.
The ugly crying is so funny. Like, I understand that this is a sad moment for her, but I just can't. It's so funny. Like
it bugged me a little bit. It didn't ruin my day or anything, but it's just
like, no, clearly not. Look at not it. No days ruined. Jesus.
I mean, there's a meme even that some assholes on the internet will say it's people have said something to the effect of she's trying to catch diagnoses like Pokemon, you know, or something like that, where it's just you're just trying to rack up all these diagnoses. It's just no, I'm just and why I deal with these certain issues in certain ways. And so, I mean, it's nice to know that I am right, that I'm not bipolar, that she saw no signs of mania, no signs of a lot of things like that were good, but she told me that my memory issues had like a really wide range, and that I clearly had memory problems, but that they were inconsistent. I forgot what test she was talking about. I would range from like above average to super below average, depending on like I think she said environmental factors or something. I don't know. I don't have the official paperwork yet. We just went over all of it, and she has to like sign it or whatever. And she told me that there's like a section of the IQ test that I took. She didn't give me an exact number, but there's a category called like attention and mental control or something. And that was the only thing that was low on my IQ test, and she said that that's because of the ADHD. And so she said if you took that out of the equation, that my IQ was like above average, but with the like ADHD in full effect, it like I guess literally lowers your IQ score, which I thought was interesting.
Her IQ is above average? I'm not a professional, so I don't know. Maybe that's true.
Just in terms of like the aspect of how we measure IQ, I find it interesting that apparently having ADHD is considered like a knockdown for your IQ. This isn't over. I really wanted this to be it. I really, really did. I guess now the question is if I should retest with the same person or not, because I think she's assuming that like the retesting would be with her. And even the one that like asked about me.
Is that not called doctor shopping or something like that? If one doctor doesn't give you the answer you want, you just go to the next one, and then if that's also no, then you go to the next one. Is that not what it is? I feel like people that want like specific medication do that, right? Is that called doctor shopping? I think that's what it's called, right?
Testing. She told me like before I said anything about that was sorry. I'm like light as bright. I'm tired, and I was really mad.
Same, Rosie. Same.
And it just sucked. You know, I knew this was a possibility. And I mean, like, honestly, this could have been a lot worse. I've seen people who have had to go to multiple doctors and who, you know, because they come across intelligent, because they come across well-spoken, they don't get taken seriously, and, like, get told really, like, fucked up stuff. Even,
She doesn't come across intelligent or well-spoken, to be entirely honest.
You know, like, why you can't, or should be, you know, you should or shouldn't be autistic. And she said something that just really confused me and like made me mad. She kept saying like that like due to the current like I guess like diagnostic material, like she said that previously I would have fallen under Asperger's, which obviously, you know, we know that term is like messed up now, we know the truth behind it. But like I would have fallen under like the high functioning labels, but I guess they've removed those labels. And because they removed those labels, she told me that because I essentially don't need like one-on-one assistance, that she can't diagnose me as autistic. And I was like, what? That's wrong. Like, you can be autistic and not need, like, one-on-one assistance. Like, I live with my family for a reason. I tried living on my own. It didn't go well. I need to live with someone.
Really? Rosie lived alone? I didn't know that. I would have loved to see videos or vlogs of that. That would have been really, really interesting, to be honest.
I don't function well in my day-to-day life, like, outside of my confirmed stuff, like, and I kept, like, pressing to her how I felt about it, and she was like, I'm not saying you're lying, I'm not saying I don't believe you, she just, like, I guess per the results of the testing, couldn't do it. This isn't over, and I'm still autistic, like I said.
What the fuck, Rosie? After everything we've just been through in this video.
I already know I'm autistic. This sucks. So I just spoke to my parents. I called them because before I post anything online, before I write a Facebook status, before I do anything, I needed to talk to them. Because, as I've said in the past,
I am almost 100% positive that's a lie.
that was a
I mean, the whole before I post anything, I need to talk like that's bullshit, I feel like.
major motivator. And I just, in previous conversations I had with my mom, I just felt like my only solution was to get a diagnosis. And maybe it's coming from a wrong place of just really wanting that validation from them. I know. So I called them.
The validation and to guilt trip them. To make them feel guilty for how she turned out, for how messed up she turned out to be.
For everything. And because like the diagnoses that I have, none of this is a surprise. Like everything, I asked about PDD because I kind of knew. Oh, I also have a family member. I'm not going to say which one. Not my parents, but there is a family member that I know of that was also diagnosed with PDD, and so which is the persistent depressive disorder. Anyway, I just talked to my parents, and I want to talk about this for like me, you know, and I was just really scared to tell them this. You know, I went over all the.
So why upload it then? If you want to document it for yourself, keep it as a like video diary.
Other stuff I just went over, and again, none of this is a surprise to anybody. And I explained to her what the doctor told me.
Her not getting a diagnosis is not a surprise to everybody. Is that what she's saying? I'm so fucking tired.
Explained to her that.
Tired of her nonsense too.
She said I had symptoms of autism, but that she couldn't diagnose me. She recommended retesting. That she basically told me I fit the criteria for Asperger's, but that she could not diagnose me with it, which is like kind of confusing because I remember earlier on, I think I made even sense in the video. I thought she told me that she would have to diagnose me with Asperger's. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know if I misheard that or what. I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm just very overwhelmed emotionally, and so I explained this to my mom, and my mom goes, "Well, it sounds like." She basically said that because of the powers that be, she can't diagnose you, but that you have Asperger's. Like that's what my brother was diagnosed with when he was a kid, you know. And I talked to her, and my mom asked me a question. She asked me, "Sorry, this is like so emotional for me." She asked me, like basically, what do you need a diagnosis for? Like, what are you looking?
Great question. Great. I'm sure everybody is wondering. This like. What the fuck she needs it for?
You get out of getting a diagnosis, or like, is there a reason? Like, is there something you're trying to get done to get the diagnosis? And I finally was just like, well, not finally. I very quickly was like, if I'm being really honest, I just want you guys to believe me. And then I started crying. And my dad said, I believe.
I feel like she uses tears to manipulate people too. Like a lot of people do that, right? Just start crying, so you feel bad and sad that you do what they like initially wanted you to do, or you agree with what they said or whatever. I hate it. I hate when people use tears to manipulate me. Well, anyone, but me specifically. I hate it. I get so triggered. And I feel like that's what she does too.
Oh man! Oh wow! So I don't know if I mentioned this on the internet, and maybe at some point I'll upload some of these things. I'll make like a little video that I don't do public scene. But my dad recently digitized all of our VHS tapes from like my early childhood years, and like from when my sister was a baby and stuff. My sister's 4 years older than me. My dad goes, when my dad and or my mom were just like, you know, we've been watching the home tapes. I haven't really watched them yet. And I'll get to the one that I did see.
I would love to watch that. I wouldn't want her to publish them because, you know, they're like personal home videos. I wouldn't want her to like invade her family's privacy like that, but that would be so interesting to see how she acted like as a maybe older child or a teenager, if we could be able to like see this behavior then already or not, or if she started being like this when she like got older and saw maybe like all the things on TikTok and stuff, you know, about autism. Like, I wonder when she started to want this diagnosis, if it was as a child already, or as a teen, or when she already was grown up, or what. Would be interesting, but please don't publish them, Rosie.
The second, because I brought that up to them. They see one clip of me. They showed me from when I was like 2 years old around Christmas time, I think. But my parents were like, you know, we've been watching these back, and basically we've been seeing these behaviors now that we know, because
her parents probably, like, I don't want to put words or thoughts in their mouths and in their heads, but her parents probably watch these videos and think, oh my god, why did she become like this? Why did she not become like every other child? Why did she not turn out better? I don't know. I feel like I would have been thinking that way if she was my child, and then, you know, you would look back at her baby videos and stuff, and you'd be like, damn, what the fuck did I do wrong for her to turn out this way? I don't know. It's probably, I don't know, is that a bad thing to say? Am I gonna get cancelled for this? But I mean, it's a normal thought, right? Parents are just people too. They, you know, I'm sure they wonder what they did wrong, or I don't know what happened to her that, I don't know.
My brother was 7 when he was diagnosed, and I was 9. So when I was little, they were clueless, like my parents were. They were clueless. They told me that they saw me being nonverbal. They told me all these things, and my parents basically validated my experiences, and God, I love therapy. I'm so fucking lucky. So many people like me never get that. It's so fucking.
And she did, and she didn't use it right. She did get therapy, and she didn't make anything from it. Like she didn't use it right. So, just wasted. Or wasted resources, I guess.
Being lucky. Oh my God, I'm a mess. I'm a mess. My mom told me, she was like, I'm kind of scattering around what they said weird because I'm a little discombobulated. But my mom basically told me that she, I guess she had started doing some of her own research, and she said that, like, once you told me some things and I looked further into it, and girls masked more and da-da-da-da-da, I think, like, behind, like, I guess just not being, like, communicated directly to me, my mom has been looking into it and, like, trying to understand better and making it to where, like, she's been, like, fact-checking what I've been telling her. As of right now, I don't know if I'm going to retest or not. I have time. I have 6 months to decide, right, before, or longer. Because it comes into question, like, financially, is it worth it? If I know I'm autistic, and my parents believe me, and my behaviors line up from when I was a child, I've lived 32 years undiagnosed autistic. Why find a system that has no solution? I want a diagnosis. I do. I just don't know if it's worth the headache and the confusion. And maybe if I wait a little bit, they'll figure out how to diagnose high-functioning fucking autistic people. I'm still autistic. I was always autistic. Being autistic is not the same as being mentally ill or having some kind of, like, terminal disease, obviously. Being autistic is a way of processing information, and it's a spectrum. I told myself over and over again that regardless of the results, I'm still the same person, the same lived experience. My life became so much better when I started treating myself like I was autistic. When I started giving myself my support needs, when I started using pediatric autism research in conjunction with reparentification techniques and other aspects of, like, self-healing. None of that changes because one doctor couldn't officially put it on paper that I'm autistic. It just really sucks how controversial self-determination is for autism. My parents believed me, and they were really the only opinion I gave a fuck about outside of my own. So, I guess in a way that's a win. Oh, cool.
What about the doctor's opinion? Is she gonna care for that when she finds a doctor that says, yes, you're autistic? Is she gonna care then? She only doesn't care. This is exhausting, honestly. I thought this video would be fun, but it really kinda isn't. First of all, I feel like there's, like, a lot that I don't understand. Like, she uses a lot of words, like medical terms that I don't, like, really understand. And at this point also really, like, don't really want to understand because I don't think they are true about her. So I don't really care. I'm not studying medicine, so I don't, whatever. And also she just keeps on going and going and going, and it's just tiring. Like, she's actually exhausting. I once again ask myself, who is watching her live streams? Like, somebody, please. This is strength that I don't have.
Holy shit. I'm exhausted. And I just woke up an hour ago. Later.
Alright. The video's over.
I've never wanted to attack an old lady as much as I did in that moment.
Now the video's over. Oh my god. That was an experience. Jesus fuck. I don't even know what to say. I have no words. Only emotions. I don't know, guys. I think I was very rambly in this video. I think I probably talked a lot of nonsense that didn't make sense. I'm exhausted. She's exhausting. And yeah, the topic is also very complicated for me because I feel like she's lying a lot, but I also think I can't be like saying it because she would then say that she is being invalidated or whatever the fuck the word is. So I don't know. That was hard. Anyway, I don't think that anyone stayed till the end. I understand. It's fine. No problem. If you did, thank you for watching. Leave a like for whatever reason, because I didn't like the video and you probably didn't either. Subscribe if you want to, or don't, that's fine too. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.